Good afternoon. This is the 8th meeting of the Community and Protective Services Committee. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Nemiecwach, and Attawandaron. We honor and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. For everyone's information, I'm joined in chambers by Council Pribble and Ferreira. Councillor Rahman has joined us virtually online, and Councillor Stevenson has sent her regrets as she's at a special training course for the police in Toronto. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meetings upon request. To make a request specific to this meeting, please contact cpsc@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. I now look to the committee for disclosures of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, there are 4 items, realizing we haven't added on our consent, so please just make sure that you're following the agenda, including addeds. Looking to committee to see if anyone would like anything pulled separate of those 4 items. Seeing none, looking for a mover and a seconder of consent items. Okay. Looking for a mover and a seconder of consent items 2.1 through to 2.4. Moved by Councillor Ferreira, seconded by Councillor Pribble. Those items are all now on the floor, and staff, as in regards to 2.4, there, as it wasn't added, there is a brief verbal presentation from staff of an overview of this report, and then I will take questions on all of items 2.1 through to 2.4. Mr. Fehlberg, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as noted in what you have before you this evening, there has not been an update to Council on this project since 2015, and the current leadership has recently learned of the complexity of the project. We have before you today is an immediate and preliminary update on a project with a long history and a changing regulatory environment. The Housing Collaborative Initiative, or HCI, was confirmed in 2014 when London and 7 other service managers signed an agreement to design, procure, develop, and implement a housing software to move from local Excel-based and paper-based tracking systems to one that consolidates the business information related to wait lists, rent supplement, and housing providers in a consistent format. At that time, delegation was provided to the managing director in order to improve the expediency of reporting relationship to the multi-municipal governance group of the HCI. All of the procurement was undertaken with the guidance and oversight of the HCI governance group, including the selection of software vendor and project coordinator. In fact, the HCI agreement included language on how to assess the vendor submissions in response to the RFP. As it relates to the project costs, each of the 8 service manager municipalities is responsible for a share of the cost based on their total number of community housing units under management in 2011. The purpose of our report today is to update committee and council on the project, given that the last one was in 2015. And this report outlines our path forward along with Civic Administration's commitment to reporting out on this project in the near term. For a subsequent Q3 report, we plan on addressing a few items specifically. First, the 4 recommendations in the report, bringing the project into alignment with the city's current technology and project management practices, along with an assessment of how any future legislative changes will impact the scope of the project, an update of project requirements with the HCI governance group, and determining and establishing quarterly updates from the HCI governance group to council. Additionally, we'll undertake an accounting of every payment that was made by the city to date. We'll also assess the advantages and disadvantages of carrying on with the relationship with LNCH and the HCI, and we'll do an assessment of the software and the various modules for use here in London. And that'll be focused on the business, not from an IT perspective, and once that's complete, we'll work with our IT folks to bring forward a technology and project management plan. I'm sure there's many questions and many details the committee would like to understand. Happy to answer any questions based on the information we have at this time, with our commitment to report back based on the recommendations in the report. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that. And item 2.3 also had an added staff report in regards to Dearness Home. Mr. Dickens, do you want to give a really brief overview of your staff report?
Thank you, Chair, and through you. I believe Mr. Hancock is actually joining us online. Looking for confirmation of that. No, okay. Through the chair, I'd be happy to provide an overview of our report here. Sorry, as I just go to it. So this before you is our standard accountability agreement with the province as it relates to the operations of Dearness Home. So the long-term care home accountability agreement, or the LSAW as it's referred to, just sort of maps out our compliance under the legislation and under the act. So within it, we bring this forward to council. It gets reviewed and endorsed, and then we enact that and sign that back to the province. So it is something that we're looking for the mayor and the clerk to endorse and sign, and then we work through the province to bring it to life. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. In realizing that the Dearness Home is the City of London's municipally operated long-term care home, of which I'm currently chair as well, and happy to see this report coming forward. In regards to item 2.1, it's the fourth report of the Animal Welfare Community Advisory Committee. Just for this committee's information, there's two items contained within it, and they're just looking for permission to do inter-committee work, and that's why it's on the consent item agenda. Looking to committee to see if there's any questions in regards to any of the items of 2.1 through to 2.4. And Councillor Rahman, if you have a question, just raise your virtual hand or come on screen. And I recognize that Councillor Hillier is also with us virtually as well, so happy to take questions from any councillor of the committee or a visiting councillor. Do you have a question? Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on. Councillor Preble, please proceed.
So the chair, to the staff regarding 2.4, the two municipalities that are continuing or seems to be is Hamilton and Waterloo region. Are they progressing kind of what has been already established, or are they kind of letting it go and starting from scratch? And is there an opportunity, if they are going ahead with it, for us to stay on, potentially to develop it faster, more convenient and more efficient?
Thank you, Mr. Feldberg.
Through you, Madam Chair. So those two municipalities, they've actually implemented the software thus far, and they've actually offered to help us with some of the findings they've had and lessons learned they've had and what they've implemented. So we'll be able to take those learnings through the HCI that we have, so all 8 member municipalities, we'll be able to use that to help inform some of the business process work that we need to do, and then work with our IT folks. And then that with the intention, if we're able to implement faster, that would absolutely be an intention.
Councillor Preble.
Thank you. Just to follow up, I know you were saying that it would be we would be quarterly updated. And I'm sorry if I missed that. When will be the first update? Are we on the calendar basis, or are we kind of starting now? Thank you.
Mr. Feldberg.
Through you, Madam Chair. So we said Q3, so we'll need to do some work. We'll need to get into all of the payment information. We'll need to establish the project management. We need to work with the governance group. So my expectation would be later in Q3, but essentially starting now.
Councillor.
Thank you. No more questions.
Councillor Ferrer is okay. Councillor Rahman, I don't see any hands, so just checking, as I have no one else currently on my speakers list.
Thank you. All good.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful. So it's already been moved and seconded. Seeing our speakers list is exhausted, calling the question in eScribe.
Could I vote by hand and vote yes?
Yeah, the clerk has heard you. I'm a yes as well.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. No scheduled items, no items for direction. We're on to deferred matters, additional business. Looking to committee to see if anyone had anything. And no in chambers. Councillor Rahman, if anything online, please let me know. Seeing none, the only thing I'll mention is a happy birthday to Mr. Dickens' daughter, Councillor Hillier's son, and to me. So thank you for a wonderful gift of a short meeting, and I will need someone to move adjournment. Moved by Counselor Rahman, seconded by Counselor Ferreira. A hand vote of all in favor of adjoining my birthday party and this meeting of the 8th of Community Protective Services Committee. Okay, the clerk has confirmed it's passed. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.